I used to be able to tell how many meals Bear Bear has eaten, based on the smell of the hallway. If there is too much rot from untouched strawberries and pastrami, he is on one of his trips. Meaning, he went so deep into one of those silly books, he forgot the basics of life. One time, I saw him leave the office for the bathroom, and the smell had gotten so rough, I hurried to clear out the trays while he was gone. There were little creatures and ecosystems of mold, just happy as hell on all those plates of picked-over lunches and dinners and breakfasts. I needed 2 garbage bags. I wasn't quite as swift to exit as I wanted to be when I noticed the book he was reading. But turns out, it was just another history book. Bear Bear was being darling and trying to divine the future by looking at the past. Pisces are like that, full of sensitive thoughts and secrets. Mom believes nothing is as prophetic as the heavens, so she charts our lives accordingly. There are horrors and missteps in our history where men are desperate and greedy. The clawing and nipping at each other is far too unrefined for her. Of course, I tried to peek, but I was too slow, and he showed up. His face reminded me of the saddest woodland creature, and all that somberness made me want to stroke his bald head and tell him everything will be fine. But I was 9 and too small to reach his head, and always had doubt about the future myself, so I just left the room with my back to the walls, dragging his trash beside me. After that, I called him Bear Bear, because it rhymed with there. Some names just stick, because they are true even if we don't want or need them to be. Now there's always rot. I'm old enough to know that most men don't act or think or look like Bear Bear. Even Bear Bear used to be just Bear once. He and Mom went out in public together as a couple, smiled together, reveled in the achievements of normal civilized people, not giving a damn. Now, Mom is on a currently unsuccessful hunt for a boyfriend to supplement her relationship with Bear Bear. It is not subtle by any means, and women like her never lose the right not to give a damn. Marriage, children, incidental. I think she prefers other married partners. That might be her mistake. The selection process is quite mysterious and cryptic. There was the yoga instructor who never went to a Harvest trademark and smelled like rose oil. The clinical psychologist who did not offer any free advice, just seemed overly excited to be there. He left us all uncomfortable. There was the investor with the well-manicured goatee who made eye contact with me for what must have been a second too long and was immediately removed from the grounds. An Olympic swim coach stayed an entire April with bad breath and a higher-than-expected BMI. She let the yoga instructor stay over last weekend. Now his kids are everywhere. Mom insists we call them cousins. It's more welcoming. She looked me right in the eyes, smiling over her coffee, and told me, "Stop frightening them." It wasn't clear if she meant the boyfriends or their children. I wonder if all parents look at their children that way. Like incessant nuisances who are marvelous to watch. That shook something in me. A string before then too fragile to pluck, but that now rang with a mission. I began to observe them all. The suitors, the cardigans and hard shoes, the pink vests and leather coats, the colognes of birch and sawdust and mint, the thick palms and wide shoulders and razor bumps and nose hair and dry knuckles and wide smiles and big heads and baseball caps and this ability to make a big room feel smaller. Feel the floors and ceiling all contract like something frail in a vacuum.